Everything feels like a scam these days. Advertisements feel scammy, grocery prices most definitely feel scammy, and basically America just feels like one big scam with extra details on top. And weirdly enough, here in America, the ones hoarding all the wealth love to flash it in the faces of the poor. Which ironically enough, those are probably the same individuals that help these successful individuals obtain that said wealth by buying one poor quality bullshit purchase at a time. That's the real way to get rich in America, right? Capitalism and consumerism. Well, either way, if you feel like you relate to anything discussed in this video, or you simply like topics discussing the downfall of society and the modern day collapse, feel free to like, comment your thoughts and opinions below, and subscribe to see my daily uploads around here discussing topics just like this. And I want to start this video out by giving a huge shout out to my channel supporters, my Patreon memberships, my channel memberships, everybody just rocks with the content. You can check out descriptions, all that stuff down below in the description. Those are some of the best ways to support me and the content around here. Now, let's begin today's shit show, shall we?
Welcome to my off-grid camp in the woods where I live
So
for
what it's
free
come to,
with no
folks.
bills. Let me show you around. First of all, how I wash. Get this asked a lot. I've got a 20-litre solar shower. You fill up this bag of water, leave it out in the sun, and then later on you've got a nice warm shower. You jump in the bucket and have a nice wash.
Solid.
Down to my camp, got my tent set up, one of my many tents. I've got a water butt over here which I use to collect rainwater for my vegetables. Got my washing up bucket. Got my water here which I collect from my local spring. Cook on gas, making a nice little brew at the moment. I've got my nice little cozy tent set up. Got all my food in there, cooking my army mess.
He's got all the bare minimum necessities.
Then
He has
outdoors,
pretty
I've
much
got
everything he
my
needs out
solar
there.
panel, got a
He's real
folding
set up.
30-watt solar pack, which charges up all
He
my
came more than prepared.
my phone, my power banks, etc. Then over here I've got a little stove which I cook on outside.
I wonder how long he plans to be out there for. If this is like a
And over here I've got my fire
forever
pit.
thing.
Got my little garden, bird table. I feed the birds with robins. Got a cheeky squirrel that comes down and nicks stuff from my account sometimes as well. Then over here I've grown some vegetables. I've got potatoes on the way. I've got some beetroot, garlic, a little...
But he's playing real life Minecraft. He's built his own little shed in the woods. He's garnered all these different tools and supplies to be able to sustain himself over there. And he's even built a small little farm. Crazy.
Is save your banana peels, put them in water, airtight container, leave it for about a week, and you've got some good potassium water which helps the plants and vegetables grow. Yeah, so this is my little camp, off-grid wild camp in the woods, living wild and free.
To some people that might sound like a nightmare, but to many that might sound like a dream come true. Not having to worry about bills, kind of being more sheltered by yourself. Now, obviously, there is some sort of, safety concerns being by yourself in the woods, but in reality, I don't think many people are going to be bothering him out there, especially not the pesky landlord knocking down the door for that next month's payment. He doesn't have to deal with that anymore. Now, also, I'm curious how comfortable he really is in the situation, or if he gets so comfortable that jumping back into real-life society of the every month bills might be hard to get back adjusted to. I mean, imagine spending so much time out in the woods, not having to worry about bills and stuff, having to jump back into it. That'd be rough. I also can also have some sympathy to people who do the whole car life, van life, living in their vehicles, which we'll also touch on some more in this video. I can imagine hopping back into an apartment, a household, a mortgage, rent. It's gonna be really hard to get accustomed to those bills again. Because once you learn to live without it, it's just gonna keep getting up and up. And then once you get back in, it'll be more expensive than it was before. So crazy how life goes. When you're homeless outside of a strip mall.
This is the shopping mall that we live in front of. And if you go all around, that's the fence to the tent. Look at that.
There's home, right outside the CVS and the Walmart and tiny little GameStop. It seems like he does have all of the necessities he needs right here. Now, all the comments in this video, we're talking about how, dude, you gotta move farther back into the woods. They're gonna come and take your tent down. They're gonna come and tell you to move. It's not gonna last forever. I'm not sure how long he's been here. Maybe he'll explain more in the video. I don't always watch all the videos before I create the little compilations here. But it is kind of interesting to see how close he is to the city with really nobody paying much attention. Again, I'm not sure how long he's been there, but that's quite a large tent, so let's continue.
See, this is where we live.
Where we live. Not camping, where we live. Looks like they have a wood plank underneath the tent. But they're really planning to be there for a while.
Sweet home.
Smells like a fresh new tent.
Yeah.
Fresh new home.
I did help her. I'm just the main one recording, that's all.
Now, obviously, you can even see the tent over the fence, so I can't imagine that's going to last forever. So this is a TikTok couple who has been homeless, choosing to live in the woods for quite some time now, and they document that, and they shared their journey along with the world. And it's really interesting to think how many people just opted out doing that. It's not just a single person's game. This is a couple doing this. There's couples out there. There's people starting families out there in the woods because it's just cost efficiency due to the rapidly rising cost of living. People are really going to the ends wits to really do what they got to do. Got kicked off the land to be continued. Wasn't that kind of already a thought?
This is how I built my bed in my Kia Rio 2009. A lot of people have been asking for it, so here it is, guys. This bed allows me to live rent-free in my car and travel wherever I want in the U.S. and not have to pay for hotels. The first step is to take out the front seat and the back seat. I cut out the back seat, as you can see. Next, I built a bed frame out of scrap wood, 2x4s, and screws. I kind of just eyeballed it to make it level. I bought a $25 piece of plywood and cut it out in individual sections. Then I threw on some mattress foam padding. Trust me, guys, I'm adding way more padding after this. And I threw on an old sheet and stapled it down. I added hinges to the individual pieces so I could stow stuff down here like sleeping bags. And my whole goal for the bed was to make it to where I could lay down comfortably flat on my back and make sure I wasn't scrunched up in the car, and that's exactly what we did. Favorite spot to sleep is Cracker Barrel. I have a Coleman Camp stove so I can cook just about anything on it.
That food looks pretty damn good. Honestly, that food might look better than some of the food you might be cooking in your kitchen this week. I mean, he's cooking that in the back of his Kia that he has only half the space in because the other half he made into a bed. This guy's really using what he has available to him.
I go shower at Planet Fitness. I have a membership where I can shower anywhere. It's the black card. And I do DoorDash and Instacart to make some extra money. Main income is social media, and I stream every day on Kick at 5 p.m., so go follow me.
He said his main income is social media. That is the way out, folks. If there's any sort of, extra side income or any sort of, freedom in this reality that we have in modern day, social media, the internet, online endeavors is the way to really access that. Seems as if every single person we cover and every single person that, gets born throughout the next generations are going to want to have some sort of presence online, and that's going to be the main source income or a potential.
Click the link in my bio.
This was the scene in Vancouver's downtown east side Wednesday morning.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about how cops have completely demolished this tent city that was put up in Vancouver. I do have a couple people who do watch from Canada. It is definitely super cool to see how YouTube pushes the videos out to people worldwide. So it is always cool to see in the comments where people are from. Feel free to leave that down below if you relate to anything discussed in any of my videos, where you're from and which country you might be from if you do relate to any of this stuff. Well, it seems like in Vancouver, this police force was not having the street-wide tent city. So they came through and they swept it all away. And they'll give you some reasons of why they
police officers, a roadblock, tents, and belongings being removed. The city says the move to clear the East Hastings encampment was largely due to safety concerns.
The longer the East Hastings encampment continues, the greater odds that more people will lose their lives. Listen, we need to restore Hastings as a street that is safe and welcoming to everyone.
The tent removal started in July last year, and Vancouver's fire chief cited extreme fire risk in the area has gotten worse, with 400 fires in the last 8.
So the problem is that at night, for these people to stay warm, they create these campfires, usually in trash cans or barrels or whatever they can make up of which. And they end up causing street fires, citywide fires, business fires, house fires, citywide fires. And it becomes a big issue with so many people close together, especially so many people not in very secure housing. It's putting lives at risk. And not only the lives of the people on the street, putting themselves in a situation with really no other choice, but that is the situation that they're putting themselves in. The people that are paying for the businesses, the leases, and the housing around these areas. So it definitely is a topic of concern for the people in the area, but also, where are these people who live in these tents supposed to go? I mean, they're only making these fires trying to survive. They're not really doing it as a get back to the city for not allowing them to be there. They want to be in the city, but they can't afford any of the housing. So
months. This week, the removal comes in the wake of leaked city documents with a plan to escalate removal of the encampment. Advocates and those unhoused worry people will have nowhere else to go, and tensions in the downtown east side will rise.
Exhausted, drained. It's not like we're trying to hurt anyone here. We're just trying to live like everybody else.
I've seen those homes taken without people having alternate shelter. This is not going to stop another tent city from forming. This is not a solution to homelessness.
The city says over 600 structures have been removed from the area since the encampment began.
We're talking an amount of people that could probably be put in a whole new city. We need multiple brand new cities to be built up with no funding anywhere in sight. But in reality, there's funding for all the other bullshit around the country. So, but the people at hand, now there is definitely a middle point where it's like, how much help do you provide to people without it being taken advantage of, or we can't just constantly just provide help to people if they're not trying to help themselves. But at the same time, helping people get back up on their feet from such a rough go, being homeless on the streets, having nowhere else to really stay, and really nothing to their name, including food, money, or any sort of belongings, definitely does get hard when you have nowhere to go. So I definitely feel for these folks. And if you've ever experienced any sort of homelessness yourself or any sort of housing crisis, it definitely is hard when you're in that position. There's not much sympathy from the outside world except for people who've been there themselves before.
I've reached a point in America where I believe everything's a scam. Renting an apartment, scam. Education system, scam. Healthcare, scam. Insurance for anything, scam.
It's everything.
Banking system, scam. There's literally nothing that you can tell me in this country that I don't believe is a scam. Professional sports, 100% scam. Lottery, scam. It's all scam.
It's not just all a scam. It's all just one big distraction to keep us brainwashed into not really finding any real solutions. And it seems that if the more and more time goes on, the more and more people find themselves in dire straits. And now there are people picking themselves up by the bootstraps and getting that hard work in, but it seems as if the hard work and those bootstraps are getting worn out. The hard work's not really going as far anymore. The money's not stretching, and people are in dire situations. But the more and more time goes on. So either way, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts, opinions regarding all the topics discussed in today's video, as well as any of your thoughts, opinions regarding any of it down below in the description. Before I do end this video, I want to give a huge shout out to everybody who supports the channel over here, my Patreon supporters, my channel memberships, everybody who rocks the content. You can check out all those links to all that stuff down below in the description. Those are some of the best ways to support me and the channel around here. Now, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope to see you again in the next one. Now, bye.